New Yorkers have recently discovered two legal and natural alternatives that imitate the effects of alcohol and drugs. These are Kava and Kratom. Kava is a traditional and ceremonial root beverage from the South Pacific Islands. In the States, drinkers are drawn to its relaxing effects and will regularly have it as an alternative to alcohol.
You can come into a Kava bar, enjoy a Kava, and not worry about, making a fool of yourself or calling your ex or doing any of the things that alcohol could lead you to do.
That was Chris Ludwig, manager of the first Kava bar in New York. Kava Sutra opened in July of 2015. Two more bars have since opened in February of this year.
More recently, it's more used as a communal drink, not so much ceremonial, but more for the same reason, bringing people together.
It's often that social, bar-like atmosphere that attracts recovering alcoholics, health nuts, young adults under 21, and tourists, like Katie Castles, who's visiting from Australia.
Yeah? Okay. It feels, Kava feels like, kind of feels like weed. Yeah, I've got to say.
Kava has a reverse tolerance, meaning the more a person drinks it, the less beverage he or she will need to feel the effects. Regular Kava drinkers don't drink more than 2 or 3 bowls per night, and they will often use the tea to unwind at the end of the day without losing clarity.
It's very similar in some effects of alcohol, but unlike alcohol, you're still very in touch with reality. You're very focused and alert.
But also served at most Kava bars is a different substance, Kratom. Kratom is a leaf from Southeast Asia that is commonly sold in powder or tea form. In small quantities, it's a stimulant, but when taken in larger doses, it acts as a sedative, mimicking the effects of other opiates. Keith Pastucci has been drinking Kratom tea for 5 years as a way to manage his back pain. He was diagnosed with degenerative disc disease in 2001.
Most people in the medical profession are firm believers of homeopathic medicines and herbal medicines. I mean, if they work, great. They may not work for everybody. I mean, maybe I'm lucky, they work for me, but I know a lot of other people that it's working for too.
Over the past few years, the United States has seen a prescription drug and heroin crisis. Drug overdose is the leading cause of accidental death in the country. Opioids are driving this epidemic, with roughly 30,000 deaths in 2014. When he was first diagnosed, Pastucci was afraid of the potential negative side effects of prescription drugs. Taking these pills was so debilitating that he would often have to go without them to be able to drive to work.
So, I would have to make a choice. Am I going to take a painkiller and stay home from work? Or am I going to not take a painkiller, suffer, go to work anyway? I mean, it comes to a point where you just have to make those decisions, and it's really tough to make those decisions sometimes. It's terrible. So I suffered in pain from, I would say, 2001 to 2011. So about 10 years, I was in severe pain frequently. I mean, once a month, I was to the point where I had to call in sick to work. Couldn't get up, couldn't stand up, couldn't drive, couldn't walk. And I just had to lay in bed. That was it. So that would happen probably once a month. It would be like that. I had gained 100 pounds. And I was pretty depressed and I wanted to do something about it. And I knew narcotics weren't working, so I used Google to do a simple search for herbal pain relief. And I came across Kratom. The first day I tried Kratom, the pain disappeared. It felt liberating. I just felt great. Like I just couldn't believe it because nothing else had ever worked before.
However, some studies have shown that Kava causes liver toxicity and Kratom can be highly addictive. Addiction psychiatrist Dr. Henry Zakari is concerned that there isn't enough research to fully understand either substance.
But the one thing that we do have is time and cultures and many, many hundreds of years of use. That it's clear that if it killed people just outright and whoever took it had a liver that popped out of their stomach, we would have heard about it. And we haven't.
But Dr. Zakari doesn't think Kratom can replace opiate treatments like methadone because its effects are too short and patients find themselves chasing the Kratom high.
The medications that we use for opiate addiction and treatment are long-acting medications that stay in your body a long time. And you decrease the roller coaster up and down that you get with drugs like heroin. And it's that roller coaster up and down that really reinforces the addiction.
Still, some users have reported negative experiences. Hundreds of anonymous online posts show just how addictive kratom can be. There are currently no legal restrictions on kava or kratom, but the state of New York has plans for upcoming legislation that would ban the use of kratom statewide. The substance has already been banned in 4 states, and 8 others are working on bills similar to the one in New York. Pastucci thinks enforcing an age limit for kratom is a good idea, but doesn't think the substance should be banned altogether.
We are forming all kinds of alliances in each state to try and speak and educate legislators in Congress as to what it is, because they don't know what it is. They're afraid of it because they don't know what it is. Every substance on earth has a positive and a negative to it.
To ban something because of fear of recreational use getting out of control, usually when a substance gets banned, it also gets banned in research, for research purposes. And the problem is that doesn't serve anybody.
Until research is conducted, Dr. Zakari thinks the most dangerous aspect of substances like kava and kratom is how they're used in the United States.
The American way is going to be, well, if 2 is good, 5 is better. If this one is good, what if I combine it with this one? And so just the nature of drug use is not to use one in isolation, but usually to combine things to get a greater, larger, bigger, expansive effect. And it's the combination that, again, is going to be the problem.